Hi, welcome back. So we're going to start our cards, our 5 cards. So this is the first one out of 5. And but I wanted to do a drawing first for everyone who returned the little note with their payment about their favorite card. And that everybody liked the video, so thank you. That was very sweet. So I want to do a drawing for everyone who sent that back in their payment by the 7th, and so I have everyone's name in this little pile right here of those who sent payment and the note back. And so I'm going to draw for this cute little jar stamp set, and it has a little jar die too, so it's a really cute little gift. It's from my stash. It's new, it's never been opened, and drum roll please. The winner is, look at these all messed up. Okay, I'm not looking. Okay, the winner is, oh, can't see that. Here we go. Oh, there you are. There it is. Becky Kurtman. Becky, you won. Yay! I will put this in the mail to you, Becky. Thank you so much. I'll get this in the mail to you, and congratulations. You are the winner. All right. Name popped on here so I don't forget. Cute as that. Okay. Alright, so moving right along, did want to do a little bit from last month. Those who haven't watched the videos yet, or let me know, I need a winner for number 20 and number 2 and number 16. So number 20 gets the stamp set, number 16 gets these pretty pearls, and number 2 gets those pretty paper flowers. So girls could let me know who wins so I can get those in the mail to you. Okay, so let's draw. I have a number in here for each person, so from 1 to 32, and I'm going to draw a number, and on your instruction sheet, I'm going to number them all, and then I'm just going to wrap them up and rent. I will not know who won what, so I'm going to draw a number, and so you look on your instruction sheet, and if you match this number that I've drawn, then you win these cute little summer charms, little feet prints and little flip-floppers. So number 27. So if you have number 27 on your instruction sheet, then let me know that you won these, and I will get these in to the mail to you. Okay? All right. So our first card winner is number 27, and our first card is dun 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 dun, a guy's card. How about that? What do you think about that? And on the inside, just blank. Doing something different this month. I thought I would design all the cards around one stamp set. Positive Thoughts. It's in the new mini catalog. If you don't have one, give me a holler. I can get you one. Or you can pick it up off the front porch. So this was a challenge because I wanted a kid's card, for the younger generation, women's card, and guys' cards. And guys' cards are generally hard to do when you have flowers and butterflies, but hey, I think you will be impressed because I used the leaf and the greenery. So let's get started. I'll show you how to how to complete this card. So I folded your crumb cake, so you're going to look for the vanilla envelope and the crumb cake cardstock. I folded it in half for you, And what I've done is taking a sponge into the ink, tapping it in there, and I lightly swirled some green ink on the background of the front of the card. I didn't want it too dark. I didn't want it to take away. You kind of see, it looks kind of gray in the camera, but I didn't want it to be too dark. So I did that first. And then what I did was I'm using Pear Pizzazz ink and Mossy Meadow ink. And what I first did with the leaf is I put it in the Pear Pizzazz, which is the lighter color of ink, and then I took the darker color of green ink and I lightly tapped the outside edges of the greenery. Now, you can go from light ink on the ink to a dark ink pad. You cannot reverse this. So one, I couldn't have stamped in the darker green first and then took my lighter green ink pad and tapped the edges. That wouldn't have worked. What would have happened was the darker ink on the rubber would have come off and gotten onto your lighter green ink pad. Plus, light colors do not show over dark colors. And so then what I wanted to do, I wanted to kind of soften, like there's this really harsh line right here. I wanted to soften that. So I took my dauber and I went over some of those harsher lines just so that it would be a little more soft, that you didn't see that straight line where the ink pad is. Okay, so once I had that inked, then I stamped it on the cardstock front. I cleaned my stamp really well so I could get all the dark green from the outer edge off, so I could repeat that. Then I did it on a piece of scrap for you, like so. I also then stamped an extra leaf. And so what you'll do is you will cut your leaf and your feather out, just like so. And I was cutting out last month for last month's cards, and I was noticing something, and I don't know. I know a lot of you women complain about cutting. Well, don't get too mad because there's quite a bit of it this month. But I learned something, so I want to show you. I'm going to come in pretty tight here. I want to show you something. Okay, so you can see that my scissors are in my right hand, and I can see my stamped line here on the left side of my scissors. And you notice how I turn the paper. My scissors are staying in one place for the most part, but I'm turning my paper to meet the scissor edge. Okay, so I thought, this is good. So I'm going along, and instead of turning my paper around, I went this way and I started cutting this way. Okay, but you cannot see the stamped edge on the right side if you're right-handed in cutting paper. And it's the same if you're left-handed too. You can't see on the opposite side because the blade of my scissors is blocking, and so I'd have to turn it like this, and then you can't see to go in front of you. So it's always best if your stamped image is in the opposite direction of where your scissors are. So my scissors are in my right hand. My stamped image line that I need to follow is towards my left hand. And so you guys are probably way more smarter than I. Figured this out years ago, but it dawned on me, hey, maybe that might be a reason why some don't like to cut out, is because they're not able to quickly follow along that line of your stamped image, and that's because it's hidden on the wrong side of your scissor blade. So there's a little tip for you I learned myself, or noticed, paid attention to last week, which was kind of cool. Okay, so I've got that flower, or those leaves cut out, and now I'm gonna finish cutting out my feather. And have you guys noticed when you're in the middle of doing something that sometimes it's hard to concentrate on words when you're trying to concentrate on your task? Why is that? So like when we're stamping and stuff, we all stop so we can talk and talk with our hands, because trying to do two things at once is not as easy as it used to be. Good Lord. Okay, so I've stamped a leaf on the front of your card, and then I'm going to use the mini dimensionals here and add them to the back of the leaves on the sections, like so. Okay, and then pull all this excess off. So, what have you guys been doing with your time? I have been stamping. Here we go. You're going to place that on the card front, okay? And then I'm going to use a larger dimensional, and just one in place for the second feather. And then you'll find that I have tied all your bows for you. Yes, yes, there you go. You know how much I love you. I tied all your bows. And depending on where this, looks nice, you can put it here. I think I'm going to put it here. You don't have to follow the directions exactly, but I think I'm going to put a drop of glue and then place my ribbon and hold it in place for a little bit till it sets. And there. Now, I didn't put any words on here. I thought I might, but I chose not to put any words on it because of you can use it for what you want to. Many of you have little small happy birthday that you could put down here in the corner. You could stamp happy birthday here, or you can always print all kinds of greeting insides on the computer, print it off on your computer paper, and cut it and glue it to the inside of your card too. That's always nice. So a lesson in cutting cardstock. This is really going to be a quickie, so here, let me show you. So get out a paper and pencil. I'll give you a half a second to do that. And you can always rewrite this or re-watch this or back the tape up a little bit. But let me show you something on cutting cardstock. So take out my paper trimmer. And okay, so cardstock is 8.5 by 11. Half of 11 is 5.5. So you're going to cut your cardstock in half at the 5.5 mark. So you get 2 pieces of cardstock per 2 cards per cardstock. Okay. All right, so then when you fold this in half, you have a card. Now, most of us know that, right? Well, now, what size do I cut to get my inside layer? Well, it's pretty easy. So here, let me use my bone folder, get a nice tight fold there. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. Now, so to cut, to put a layer on the inside, it depends. Do you want 1/4 of an inch of a border around, or do you want 1/8 of an inch? And you know what? It depends on, one, how much stamping I'm going to do on the inside of a card, or if I'm going to write a lot, So I'm going to show you both. Okay, so we're going to start with a half a sheet of cardstock, and so I'm going to show you the largest size first. So I'm going to cut this in half again at 4 1/4, because 8 1/2, half of that is 4 1/4. Okay, so I have 1/4 sheet of cards, 1/4 and 1/4 sheet of cardstocks. Okay, so if I wanted, let's say, an 1/8 of an inch border, so what I would do, I would cut 1/4 of an inch off 2 sides. It's easier to do it 2 sides than having to cut all 4 sides. So if this is 5 1/2, if I back it up 1/4 of an inch to 5 1/4, trim that off. There's my 1/4 inch, and then trim my 4 1/4 down to 4. There's my 1/4 of an inch. So I have 1/8 of an inch missing from all sides of that. So I want to use the back of this card so I can show you. So this will fit perfectly. So a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, you trim a 1/4 inch off of 2 sides, it will give you 5 1/4 by 4. So that would be a larger size layer, and then you only have a little bit of the border showing. Okay, let's go next size down. You're going to add 1/4 of an inch to those first cuts, so it would be, instead of 5 1/4, it'll be 5, and there's your 1/2 inch by 3 3/4. Oops, 3 3/4, and there's your other 1/2 inch. And so by taking a 1/2 inch off of 2 sides, I'm going to give myself a 1/4 inch border, giving this piece just a hair smaller. This is a hair, 1/8 of an inch all the way around smaller, but a nicer, bigger border for the outline. So it's up to you if you want a larger, more color. Basically, this is how I look at it: more color showing around, or less color showing around. So it's kind of up to you, the look you want. But make those notes. So your cards, let's get back to our regular card, is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So you're going to cut your 8 1/2 by 11 at the 5 1/2 mark. You get 2 cards per sheet of paper. For your layers, the large layer is 5 1/4 by 4. 5 1/4 by 4, and your smaller layer is 5 by 3 3/4. So your smaller layer is 5 by 3 3/4. So I think that will help you in making your cards and using layers. And your layers doesn't have to be cardstock. Your layers could be background papers. It could be anything. So you can also take your strips and scraps of your background paper and glue it on a base, and then cut the base down to size and lay that, and you've got all stripes or whatever for scraps. So anyway, just a couple of ideas on getting your borders. Neither of those did I use this time around. So I made both of these cards. I want to show you these. The first one, I started out with the brown in the background. I used crumb cake in the background for this one, and then this one I used the green. I like the green better. I think it gave it more pop to the greens. It's weird how, and this I thought kind of made it look dingy and dirty, so I redesigned, and the bow worked out better here on this side where it worked out better here on the other side. So once you get yours laid out, then you can glue on your bow where you think it looks better. Now you do have an envelope that is stamped, and so your card's ready and done, ready to go. Okay, so done. We've finished up with card number 1, and then you have a little tip on cutting your own cardstock and what size to cut your layers. So come back again. I'm gonna record for card number 2 and get my mess cleaned up, and I'll be back in a little bit. Thanks, girls.